Good morning. I hope you're having a great day. It's Thursday. Make sure that you tune in tonight with Laura Martyr for Torah with Laura, one of our great classes that we have featured on Thursday nights. We are talking about spirituality and what it means to become a spiritual person and what it means to be a spiritual person. And I want to share with you an interesting comment that was made by the Baal Shem Tov, the founder of the Hasidic movement. You know, there's a famous verse in the Torah that says, Na'aseh Adam. That's God speaking in the beginning of the creation story. And he says, let us make man. Very famous line from the Torah. And of course, the commentaries are all puzzled by this because who's God speaking to? Let us make man. Who is he talking to? Who is us? So Rashi, the great medieval commentator, points out that he was talking to the other spiritual forces that existed at the time, the heavenly forces, and he was saying, let's work together to make man. But there's another comment, another insight from the Baal Shem Tov, where he actually says, who was man? Who was God talking to when he said, let us make man? He was talking to man. In other words, what he was saying is, I do not intend to create you whole or complete. Now, it's not that God couldn't create a world of perfection and wholeness and completeness. Obviously, he could. In fact, it could be argued logically that maybe it would even be easier for God to do that, considering God himself is whole and complete. But God purposely creates an incomplete, imperfect world. And then he says, and by the way, he creates an imperfect human being. And then he says, Na'aseh Adam, let us make man. Speaking to us, he says, you and I, together, we will make you. I will give you what you need. I will give you the raw materials. And then you will work on yourself and develop yourself and refine yourself and make good choices and grow as a human being. And that way, together, we are making you. Let us make man. Together, God and man will make man. And that's a really important thing to understand when we're talking about spiritual growth, that we have to understand that it is our role, it is our responsibility, and it is our role to play in advancing ourselves, in growing in our wisdom, in growing in our spirituality, in growing in our character traits, so that we become better and more refined human beings. And if we do so, we're doing God's will, because that is exactly why Hashem created an imperfect, incomplete world, so that we can play the role of completing and perfecting ourselves. Have a great day, and be in touch. We'd love to hear from you.